Everybody good? All right, well, thank you all very much for being here. As Representative Kelly and I are going to explain our Get REALS Act, specifically aimed at making our governor a better governor.
As many of you know, as part of his budget proposal, the governor included a 40-hour externship for teachers in order for them to renew their licenses. And so we would sort of like to turn that narrative and are asking that the governor spend a 40-hour externship comprised of 5 8-hour days in public schools rated A through F, and then submit a report to the leadership and to the legislature about what he learned. And so the governor will have the option to spend his time with school and education professionals, whether they are teachers or cafeteria workers or administrators, so that he can get an up-close view of what it's going to take to give all of the kids in our state access to A-rated schools and an A-rated education.
I think the governor has a blind spot when it comes to local communities. Whereas many of us who serve in the legislature came from city councils, or we were township trustees or school board members. I was a school board member. Representative Kelly served on a city council. Governor Kasich has only served in state and federal offices. He served in the state senate. He served in Congress. He's obviously Ohio's governor right now. He's ran for president twice. And I think when you when you serve in those types of settings, I mean, in the state of Ohio, our budget is in, we can talk about millions of dollars. In the federal government, you can talk about billions of dollars. But if you serve on the local level and you're doing budgeting, you're making budgeting decisions, literally you're making decisions on the hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars. And I think we've seen in Ohio that his budgets have been harmful to local communities. I want to reference a study that just came out by Governing Magazine. It's from the February 2017 issue. And they look at because the notion of the shared level of support, the notion that state governments have a relationship with their local governments is common across the United States. And they did an analysis and they looked at the averages of dollars for schools and local communities for all 50 states. They averaged 2007 through 2009 and then compared that to 2014. And because of the Great Recession, most states cut their revenues somewhat. The average was 6%, comparing the average of 7, 8, and 9 to 2014. Ohio's cut was 3 times that amount. Ohio had the second largest cut to local communities and schools of all the 50 states, with one exception, and that was Arizona. So again, I think that if the governor would have come from local governments, again being council, township trustee, or school board, he would have greater sensitivity to the needs of local communities and local schools. So yes, the idea of this legislation, the Get REALS Act, is to send the governor back to school. And quite frankly, the other thing that I think plays into this on the education side is, with the A to F report card, Rich Exner of the Cleveland Plain Dealers done an analysis, did one in August of 2013, and then again, I think September of 2016, where the determinant factor of your A through F report card, district to district, was in fact the amount of wealth in your communities, the average per capita income. So that's where the requirement to spend 8 hours a day in an F, D, C, B, and A school or school district, I think could be really beneficial in terms of the amount, the kind of education policy that Governor Kasich would then hopefully both budget for and create. Because the report that we want him to write is a report that says, how can we make all of Ohio's schools A-rated districts? So again, giving him that exposure that he lacks based on his own political and business career. As you might remember, or rather as you might know, after he left Congress, he worked at 2 places. He worked at Fox News and he worked at Lehman Brothers. Neither of those are your local school district. So I think he's got a blind spot in his own personal biography, and I think his state policy reflects that. I should also mention, and we just found this out not too long ago, this bill already has bipartisan support. We've had at least one Republican sign on. We've had another one friendly, chat us up in a friendly manner on our walk over here. So I anticipate that this bill will get strong support from both sides of the aisle and receive some healthy debate once it gets referred to committee. And do you have anything else?
I think this is a great opportunity for the governor to see the challenges that teachers face as they teach our kids every day in communities throughout the state. And quite frankly, a lot of teachers put in more than an 8-hour workday, so 5 8-hour days seems like Governor Kasich might be getting a little bit of an easy schedule compared to the teachers throughout our state.
And again, we would want him doing this educational externship in a classroom setting or in food service or in custodial, which was intentionally written that way because quite frankly, we don't want him to just attend sporting events to make up those 8 hours.